a sweet potato. Can you believe this? This came out of my oven, out of my garden this morning, as well as, let me show you, as well as this. We're gonna weigh these in just a minute. As well as this right here. Can you believe this? Another sweet potato that came out of the garden. Thank goodness I had somebody to help me because I could have never gotten them out on my own. We had to use a pitchfork, and let me just show you there. These are all the sweet potatoes that came out this morning. It's not showing that anybody is here today. I feel like Facebook is kind of messing up. Let's see what's going on. Let me turn you all around right here and make sure. There we go. There's one person. Let's see who it is. Heidi Gonzalez is here. Okay. Hey, Heidi. How are you? Can you get an eyeful of these sweet potatoes out of the garden this morning? Look at that. We're going to weigh it in just a minute. And I'm sure that no notifications went out today. Okay, look at this. Like, I can barely lift it up. So I'm going to be giving this to Brenda. So we'll have Brenda come on in. Oh my God, it is gorgeous. Here's Brenda. Say hi to Brenda, everybody.
Hi, everybody. It's always so good to see you and
yes.
have you here.
Yes. So many people are missing today. I feel like I've got a hair in my mouth and I don't know where. Can you see it?
I don't see it.
Oh my gosh, there it is. I can't continue like that. Heidi says hi. So here's the deal. We're going to weigh this puppy because when we pulled this out, my farmer who was helping me said, Marla, this is the size of a baby. This is like a baby coming right out of the garden. And I ran upstairs and called for Brenda to come down and say, you're not going to believe this. You need to come down and see this right away. So let me push this. There's Roseanne. Hey, Roseanne, look at this. Are you believing this? Okay.
Okay, so we have a scale, and we did a little guessing ourselves when it first came out.
Yeah.
Marla was right, I was wrong.
Yeah. So let's have you guys guess before we weigh it. Roseanne, Heidi, let me see if I can see the third person that is here. Nope. It's only showing one person, or two people. But guess what the weight of this, I literally lift it like this, like hurts my back. Yes, that's crazy. It is crazy. And look at this other one. Here, you pick up, okay, you pick up that. I know. And then there's this. So we are making twice baked sweet potatoes, and I want it 12 pounds. I mean, it looks like it's 12 pounds, but I guessed 7 is what I guessed. What do you guess?
Well, I had guessed like 4.5 or 5.
Right. Well, this one is 3.5 or 4.
That one was just a little over 4.
Yeah, this one is a little over 4. If I had known they were pulling these out, I would have had a contest. It's 4.6 pounds, this one. So Heidi says 7.5 pounds. Verica says 10 pounds. This one is 4.6. Roseanne says 12 pounds. Okay, let's look at this one. We reach on over. There's this one. Look at this. And this one is, oh my gosh. This one is 3.6. What was this, 4.6?
4.6.
Yeah, 4.6, 3.6. Okay. And that one, drum roll.
Just so you can really see the size. Here it goes. Hopefully we won't break the scale.
Oh my God. 6.1 pounds of sweet potato, this thing. 6.1 pounds of sweet potato in just one sweet potato. So who guessed 7.5? I guess Heidi was the closest. 10 pounds, 12. Sue, Ellen Rainish is here. Look at this. Can you believe this, Sue?
So it's like a $10 potato because at the store they're usually like $1.49 a pound or something like that. So this is like a $10 potato.
Oh my gosh! And I just want to show you, there's still some more in the garden. Well, yeah, take that. Let me see what this one is. Let's weigh this one, and then I want to show you. Hey, Frank. Yeah. Well, so this is a pound and at 1.1 pounds. That's not too bad. I mean, I don't know that I'd ever buy this in the grocery store. And this one is 1.1. They're all 0.1. Isn't that interesting? And I'm sure there's something to that. I'm just not sure what, but there's a lot. And so this is everything. I mean, I gave 2 huge ones away to the farmer this morning so she could have them for Thanksgiving because I didn't know what all I was going to do. But let me just turn this around and give you a little tour of. Yes, and I will show you those, but these came all out of the oven, not out of the oven, out of the ground this morning. So there was quite a haul, as well as Brenda and this one here. Brenda, yeah, there, where we go. Whoop, there you are. There you go. Look at how, I mean, it's bigger than your head. You know that, right? It's totally bigger. It is. It's bigger than your head. You look so cute. And there we are. So what do you guys think of that? Side view looks like a skinless chicken. Let me tell you, there's all kinds of things we keep thinking this looks like. Yes, is that too hot for you to hold? Okay, so these right here also came out of the garden. These were I called it a small, a medium, and a large. And there you go. Are you sure that's a potato? It looks funny. Well, it does look funny because it rooted. So that particular, I mean, these are, these look normal, correct? But that rooted. So we tore off all the roots. But what happens is when you put these in the ground, they root. And so there were like 10 potatoes that had rooted off of, and potatoes were growing. And some of the smaller ones that we pulled up like this, there were a couple that were this big that we pulled out of the ground, and we literally dug a hole and put them back in and let them start to grow so that they would come back tomorrow. So Heather just tuned in. Let me show Heather that potato. Heather, look at this. Look at how this is a sweet potato. It's 6.1 pounds. Can you believe that? Came out of my garden this morning. I can't believe it. So there we go. So Brenda's going to take that one, and then, well, we'll just wait and see what goes. But I want to know what Brian says. You should probably take a good one, maybe. Do you want to take a good one, or is that good for now?
Either way.
Okay, just wait. All right, let's see who stops by for a sweet potato. I know Harmony said she wanted a couple, and I'm dying to know. I mean, well, I have to tell you, because the cucumbers that I pulled out of the garden, right? They have been, I mean, when the farmer pulled this out, she goes, I'm not sure what is going on with you and what you grow in the garden. She said, between your cucumbers and your sweet potatoes, she said she's never seen anything like it. And I've never seen anything like it. Like, I had no idea cucumbers could grow to that size. But even my cucumbers that are this big, they are not too, the flavor was there. They weren't tough. They weren't, whatever. So I'd be curious to know. Harmony was asking how you would cook this. You'd have to put it in the oven for 3 hours. But I said you would slice it.
And here's what I'll do. When I cut it open, when I cut it open,
take pictures.
I'll take some pictures so you all can see.
Yeah, and forward them to me. Yeah.
Just to see what it looks like inside. Because it looks kind of funny on the outside, but a little deformed, but it's been growing for a while.
But like I said, there were roots that were all on, this. So you could see, like, this is another potato that was growing, and this was another potato that was growing, and this is another potato that was growing. But what happened is they came together, but there were other stems, like this one actually was on the root of this over here. So it's funny. It's the first time I've ever seen them come out of the ground. It was kind of fun to watch. And on Instagram, I did a reel of them coming out of the ground this morning. So pop over to Nanny Bubby on Instagram and see that. It was really fun. Okay, have a great weekend.
Thanks. I'll take pictures.
All right, I'll see you. Thank you. I always want to give Brenda something out of the garden, because Brenda, I would not have a garden if it was not for Brenda. So I always very much love sharing absolutely everything with her. So let me start by telling you that what we're going to be making today is Ina Garden's twice baked sweet potatoes, which is why I wanted to take this out of the ground today. But my farmer happened to say to me, Marla, the leaves are still very green, and so typically we don't take the sweet potatoes out until about till all the leaves have turned brown and your leaves are still green. And I said, well, let's just look because I really want to make them for Thanksgiving. And so the very first one she pulled out was actually this one. And I'm like, oh my God, we let these stay in the ground way too long. So we left some in. So let me show you the recipe. It is this recipe in Make Ahead, Ina Garden Make Ahead. It is one of my very favorite Thanksgiving meals, side dishes for the turkey. And I'm going to prepare it today, and then I'm going to put it in a food saver bag and freeze them to take with me for when I leave town. So I am going to have to read this along as we go. So the first thing is we're going to place the potatoes on the prepared sheet pan, which I did. We put little slits in them. I will show you these little slits. We put slits in them so that the skin, can you see those slits? So that it didn't bubble up and burst. So we have a nice skin, another slit right there, if you can see. So we kept the skins. So bake the potatoes for about 50 minutes. So the little one I took out after about 40, and then after about 50, I took out the medium-sized one, and then the big one was in for a full hour. Let's see. Meanwhile, until very tender, bake the potatoes. All right, we're going to heat, but we're going to cut the potatoes. We're going to go back to that, but I just want to show you. Let me grab a grapefruit spoon here, so hold on 1 minute. Okay, all righty. So we are going to take our knife. Let me grab that too. Ugh. Okay, so we're taking the knife and we are going to cut these in half. Here we go. You can't see this, can you? I've got the book here. I've just got so much. There we go. Does that give you a better view? I've got sweet potatoes in the way here. Like, this is just crazy. Unbelievable. Okay, so let me get that in view for you. There we go. Okay, so we're going to just cut these in half. They're just beautiful. Look at this one's still steaming a little bit. Let me just cut through that skin. So it's nice. There we go. I don't want to tear it. Okay, so we're going to stick this into a baking dish right over here. I think I might want to spray that with avocado oil before I place them in there. Well, actually not. Actually not, because I'm not going to bake in this dish. We're just going to set them in there. I'm going to take this dish with me when I leave town and bake them in this dish, but we're not baking it now because the final bake is the second bake. And what we're going to do, I just want to make sure I cut all the way through this. There we go. Look at how beautiful. Isn't that gorgeous? There we go. And then finally the small one. There we go. All the way through. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so these are nice and cool. And what we're going to do is we're going to take about 1/2 inch of the meat. Can you see that? Yeah. There you go. About 1/2. Lynette is here. Hey, Lynette, you've been joining us now every day. So happy to have you. I love all of our old regulars, and I love the new regulars that are quickly becoming old regulars because they're coming every day. This is too hot to handle yet. And we're going to just make a rim around because we're going to leave about 1/2 inch of the meat in these baked potatoes. Now, the first time I made them, I took out way too much meat because you need that edge in order for it to not just get that out. Just scrape it right out, but leaving enough. Don't go too close to the skin and don't go too close to the bottom there. Okay, see there? All right, let's do the same. Now, the cheese in this recipe is called Tilagio Cheese. It is an Italian cheese, and it is a soft. It's almost like brie. It's so very soft. And so the recipe calls for us to cube it. And the problem with cubing that, there I went way too far in. The problem with cubing a soft cheese is that when you do that, it's so soft it won't cube up. So I have placed it into the freezer for a while. And in fact, I'm going to show that to you right now because we don't want that to freeze too much. It's been in there for about an hour and a half. There we go. There we go. So I'm going to just finish coring these out, and then I'm going to cut the cheese while it's nice and cold. And then from there, hey, Bobby Robbins, everybody's tuning in today. Let's get all of this beautiful meat out. Can you see that? Again, leaving about a 1/2 inch of the meat in here. This is a little bit hot yet. You can see the steam. Can you see the steam coming off of it? It's really beautiful. And using a grapefruit spoon is truly the best for doing this because it becomes very easy. Again, making them like little boats. You can see the steam coming off that. And if you don't know what a grapefruit spoon is, let me just remind you, it's got a serrated edge here. Let me hold this up so that you can see. And that way, yes, you do have that cookbook. Almost everybody has this cookbook. And I have to tell you, I saw an episode of Ina Garten over the weekend, and it was her Thanksgiving side show. And what she stated is that she saves the drippings from her chickens throughout the year, and then she freezes it. And then what she does is to make her gravy ahead, she uses the drippings from her chickens to make the gravy. Well, I thought that is such a great idea that I just ran out and bought 2 chickens, and I'm roasting them for dinner. And I'm going to take those drippings and put them in the refrigerator, and then I'm going to make the gravy for the turkey and freeze that, because if you don't know, if you haven't heard already, I am traveling and we are going to be on the beach for Thanksgiving, and I want to take as much down with me because it's a Airbnb, and I'm just not sure how stocked that kitchen is going to be. So it's almost going to be like camping out, but I want to do as much as I can here. And so that's why we're having 2 chickens tonight for dinner. And again, probably tomorrow night. So, okay, here we go. So one more to go. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this Tilagio cheese. So we'll take a look at it. It's not frozen, but it's stiff. And when you work with a soft cheese, you really want to make it easy to dice up because it does melt into the hot butter and into the hot sweet potatoes. So let me just pull this. By the way, these are cooked perfectly, all of them. The big one, so I just kept spacing out which one I took out of the oven at the time. So good. All right, there we go. Okay, that's it. Okay, and these are perfect boats. Very good, very perfectly. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that great? Okay, so let's just set these aside. Let me just pull a little bit more off the side here. Boat this out. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna, let's see. I'm gonna put this behind me here, and let me grab a cutting board. And let's see what we can do to go ahead and dice up this cheese. What did I do with that knife? Okay, stand by, looking for the knife. I cut them. What did I do with it? This is very funny. Here I am. I think they're still in the container here it is. Okay. I mean, tell me I'm not the only one that does that, right? Absolutely not. I know you do it too. I know you do. Okay, this is perfect. So this has a rind on it, and the rind goes all the way around the outside. I should have probably placed it in there with the plastic off, but this is going to be so easy now to cut into and get the rind off, because with soft cheese, it's just so difficult to to cut it. And it needs to be diced because you want it to be in every scoop. There we go. Off it goes. All right. So if you can see this, let's see. I will be at the beach too for Thanksgiving. We're coming for dinner. Okay. All right. So down we go. Oh, it was a little bit harder because it was in the freezer, but honestly, it's so much more difficult when you haven't. Can you see that? I always want to make sure that if you've taken the time to come here, that you can see what you need to see. There we go. This is awesome. Do I have paper on here? No. Okay. I have to tell you, freezing it was a genius idea. I just say that because last year I didn't do that, but this year I looked at that and I remembered how difficult this cheese is to cut and how difficult it was to get the rind off, because the cheese is just so, I mean, it's not even a semi-soft cheese. Maybe it's called a semi-soft cheese, but honestly, it really is just too soft to cut. And when they say dice it up, it's just impossible to happen. So getting the rind off was much easier. And I'm going to take these pieces. I'll cut this in thirds. This is great. Honestly, it's great. And it says small diced. So how are you going to small dice a soft cheese? It's impossible. So we're going to see there. Like, this would have never happened. You can see this, right? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Anybody can come to the beach that wants to. Happy to have you. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. One more, and then we'll start with the other piece. Oh. There we go. I feel like maybe if I sprayed this with a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil, it might not stick. So let's try that. Should we try that a little bit? Or even, what's this? Coconut oil. All right, let's give this knife a spray and see if maybe that actually helps it slide right through. There's a little bit of rind left. Let's get rid of that. Spread that on here. I even got some butter here, but I think maybe much easier. There we go. Good idea, huh? All right. Half. And now it's sticking again. All right. 1, 2, 3. You can see how difficult this has been to slice up, and you can only imagine how bad it is if you don't put it in the freezer and make it a little bit hard. So let's get this other one off and let's get it started. There we go. Here comes the paper. Wrap tightly, and honestly, you don't even want to take the paper off when it's so soft, because the cheese actually sticks to the cellophane and you can't get that off. All right, so let's get off the rind right here. Perfect. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay. It's a struggle, but it is worth it. Let me tell you, this cheese, it's called Tilagio. Telligio. I think that's pretty close. Let me see. It is Talleggio. Talleggio. Tilagio. And Frank says, we made homemade apple wine last year and it should be ready for, oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I thought you were going to talk about Tilagio cheese. So it is an Italian cheese. It is almost the consistency of a brie, maybe a little softer. And on top of that, it is very pungent. Very, very, very pungent. So it's got really a rich, rich smell and flavor. So, okay. Here we go. And it's sticking, but we're almost there. And by the time we do the shallots and the butter, the Tilagio will have softened up to the proper consistency. And when we pour in the hot butter, hey Lindsay, how are you? How are you doing? We're making twice baked sweet potatoes. So here we go. For Thanksgiving, making our side dishes, getting everything ready. I can't wait to put it on my Thanksgiving table, whatever that's going to look like, which I have no idea. Okay, so there we go. And that was the easiest it has ever been to slice that cheese. It is really the best course of action to dice cheese that is soft like that is to freeze it. It was in the freezer for about an hour and a half, so it got nice and cold, but it did not freeze, which is awesome. And here we go. Okay, so next step, we're going to set this aside now. So happy to see you up and at 'em, Lindsay. Relaxing. Nice to see you here. Okay, so we're going to turn on this fire. Let me wash my hands really fast. Oh! So for those of you who tuned in late, this is a sweet potato that came out of my garden today, and I'm in shock. I just sent the 6-pounder home with Brenda, if you happen to see that. Here is a 4.1 pounder sweet potato. And the sweet potatoes that I was just working with, of course, were normal size, if you call them normal. This is a normal size, but it's actually quite big. This was 1.1 pound. It seemed like all of them were like the 6.1 pounder that I sent home with Brenda. This was a 1.1 pound. I mean, more than that, I think this was 2. I mean, I just cannot believe how big all of these were. They're just absolutely incredible. So, okay, we are, I have the shallots right here. And we are going to start heating up our butter, and we're going to soften these shallots. That cheese is excellent for topping salads, and I use it for stuffing chicken. That's great. Mark Goldberg is here. Happy Thanksgiving, Mark. Nice to see you. Everybody leaves such nice comments on the Facebook page. So let me grab a spatula here. Okay, and into the pan we go. And we're just going to sweat these shallots, right? And I'm making this recipe out of Ina Garden's Make It Ahead, which, I mean, if the best Thanksgivings ever are the Thanksgivings that you make ahead, that's for sure. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, oh, you can smell it. It's just unbelievable. Hey, Susie Foreman, you made it. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's give this a chance to sweat and soften. So this is the book, Make It Ahead, Twice Baked Potatoes. Sweet potatoes are here. I took sweet potatoes out of my garden purposely this morning just so that I could make them for Thanksgiving and for all of you. So let's see, here we are. Cut them in half lengthwise. Add the shallots and saute for 4 to 5 minutes until tender. Add the thyme and cook for 1 minute. So I have already minced thyme. Fresh thyme also came out of the garden. There we go. There we go. And I'm going to be putting that in as soon as these shallots. So what is your favorite side or favorite way that you make potatoes for your Thanksgiving side table? Is it mashed potatoes? Is it sweet potatoes? Is it twice baked regular potatoes? Exactly. What is it? What is your favorite? Tell me that while everybody sort of write something. I think I'm going to put like some what would be the word? Parchment paper over the top of the potatoes before I food saver them. so that as they defrost, what's in them doesn't stick to the Food Saver bag when I open it up. That would not make me happy. Okay. There we go. We'll let this cook down just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. And so what we're going to do is the potatoes should look like canoes. Sprinkle the potato shells generously with salt and pepper. Add the remaining 4 tablespoons of butter to the scooped out potato flesh and mash it with a fork. So add the remaining 4 tablespoons, which is right about here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think an extra tablespoon of butter never hurt anybody, right, guys? Especially if you're spreading butter with love and love like butter, right? So let's take this butter and get it all into here. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to mash the butter with a fork as well as the cheese. And we're going to take the shallots, which are starting to brown, and I don't want that to happen. So let me caramelizing and browning. They're doing more than sweating. So let me turn them down just by 1. And then we're going to take this fresh thyme. Let's see. There we go. And we are putting the thyme right there. A lot of thyme in there. And we're going to just saute down that fresh thyme till we can smell it. About a minute. Look at how beautiful that is. Right in there. And I'm going to take a little bit of this butter right out of here and add it in here just to help melt just a little bit more. We have some hot butter that we actually can put right into the pan. That's quite a bit. It's got some sweet potato in it, but I think it's fine. I just really want it to be liquefied so that it pours over the potato and helps to soften the cheese and soften the potatoes, and away we go, right? So, I think that's about it. That is cheese, not butter. Okay, so we'll turn this off. We'll push it forward so that it's out of the way so you guys can see everything that's happening here. And let me get this out of the way. Cleaning up. Doing the Wolfgang Puck style of cleaning up after myself as I go. Since we don't stop down and edit, we're live at all times, right, guys? And I love Thanksgiving. It truly is my favorite holiday. I think that, like we were talking about at the Winter's Retreat, how incredible it is that all of our very favorite recipes, and there are certain dishes that we all put on our tables that remind us of our ancestors who used to come and cook them, that we were all together with, that are no longer with us, like Judy Wood's sweetheart salad that her mother used to make. She made her promise that it would always be on her Thanksgiving table. And it is. And this pan is hot. Let me grab something. So I can hold it. It's heavy and it's hot. But, you know, this is where all that flavor is right here in this brown. So I really wanted to glaze it just a little bit here and get all this wonderful caramelized flavor right into this. So we've got the grapefruit spoon, and we are going to, by the way, these are the other things that came out of the garden this morning. They pale in comparison, but I got four tomatoes that are starting to become flavorful now that it is, hey Jesse, now that it is cooler out, and 1 green pepper. But these pale in comparison to, oh my God, this huge baked potato, right? 4.1 pounds. Brenda was here and she walked out the door with the 6.1 pound. So, okay, so if you can see this, let me tip you down. And you want to mash this butter into here. So what we want to do is we want to salt and pepper, let's see, we want to sprinkle the potato shells generously with salt and pepper and add the remaining 4 tablespoons of butter to the scooped out tomato flesh. Mash it with a fork. Add the eggs. There was what we're missing. Eggs, shallots, cheese, and the 3/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper. So let's see. How many eggs? 1 extra large egg. So let me grab that. Hold on just a minute. Almost forgot the most important thing. Okay, we've got an egg. We need to get our salt and pepper. So Friday is Harmony's, not Friday, Saturday is Harmony's legitimate 40th birthday, which I cannot believe. And I'm picking up my little doll face at 4:30, and we are making the cake. We're making Giada's espresso cake with caramel glass, and I'm very excited about that. So I want to be careful that this egg doesn't cook, so we're going to put it in the cold part of lightly beaten. So now we're going to mix it in. There we go. Can you guys all see that? And that actually helps to loosen the diced cheese up, loosen up all that butter, mash it really good, soften up the butter, soften up, there we go. And I think we're almost ready to restuff all of those potatoes. Let me just continue to fold this just a little bit, mashing it in. So what's really great is the Tilagio cheese starts to get soft and it just sort of melts into the sweet potato, which is just amazing. Look at that. So beautiful. And now we'll let that sit a minute. And the cheese itself has separated beautifully into the rest of the sweet potato. The egg just sort of loosened the whole thing up, which is just amazing. Just amazing. Okay. Here we go. Just a little more sweet potato that needs. There we go. Okay. And these sweet potatoes also came out of my garden this morning, so they are just a few hours old, which I find just absolutely unbelievable. Okay. All right. Let me grab these. Yes. Happy birthday, Judge. Thank you, Frank. What's really important is that my granddaughter and I get to make this cake, and what my granddaughter wants to do is she wants to hide a Starbucks card in the cake as her gift to Harmony, which I think is just so precious and funny. So we're going to stop and get a Starbucks card on our way home from picking her up, and then I'm going to bake the cake right now, and then she's just going to help me with the caramel glass and with the frosting. So fun, right? Just so fun. She's very creative like that, and when I hear her creativity, I just don't want to say, oh no, that's not a good idea. How are we going to put a card in the cake? But I figured it out. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. So if you're ready, I'm ready, and we are going to go ahead and restuff these. So I'll show you how we do one of them. And these are so great because there's like a few chunks of the cheese, and then there's some big chunks. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. And then we're going to take one of these thyme leaves and just lay it right over the top. Do you see that? Is that gorgeous? So beautiful, right, guys? There we go. And then we are going to do the same. Here we go. So I just want to remind everybody that we are having a master class, a free master class on December 1st in Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group. We are going to talk about the 3 secrets to a great holiday meal. So you can join me at 2 o'clock December 1st in Gather with Nanny Bubby Facebook group, or you can join me on December 2nd live on Instagram. There we go. Look at that. Is that gorgeous or what? So I hope that you do. I can pick this one up. These little ones turned out so great. Just look at that. Just filling them back up. And I think what I'm going to do is actually start to freeze these right in this baking dish before I, hey Biggie, it's time for Biggie to start barking, and he wants his White Castle hamburger, I think. There we go. Because what I don't want to do is put these in the Ziploc and zip them and zip tie them in the food saver bag and then have this kind of get all over everything. So here we go. So now, before the baking, am I in danger of eating a raw egg? Is that not a good idea? Maybe that's not a good idea, but I think I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. I just want to taste. There we go. So normally then what we would do is we would take these and we would put them, this is really a pretty twig that we're going to put right on top of this little one. There we go, look at that. And maybe I'll do a cute design with this one here. This is so pretty this time. And I can fill this one up. This one does not have enough in it. We've got to put back everything we took out and more, right? Kind of make them a heaping. There we go. And I think I'm going to take this one off. So we've got just a little bit that we're going to go ahead and put in here. There we go. Okay. There's a thyme leaf there. And a very pretty thyme leaf here. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? Look how beautiful. Let me hold that up. Hey, Mary Campbell, how are you? Mary Murtaugh Campbell. Nice to see you. Okay. Oh, let me get some thyme for this one. And there we go. How's that? Beautiful, right? Absolutely gorgeous. So that's it. Now I just have to, probably shouldn't eat a raw egg because there is a raw egg in here, but I do have to taste it. So shall we? My gosh, that is delicious. And Roseanne says, I hope Harmony is blocked from watching this video until after Saturday. Well, I didn't say it until it went on for a while. She's not going to watch for like 40 minutes, right? I'm taking another bite. This has the cheese in it. So I'm sure she tuned out. She's with kids. No, that's it. You guys, it's so good. Best recipe ever. I'm going to take this platter, put it in the freezer, let these get hard, then I'll stick them in the food saver bag and then stick them right back into the freezer and they'll be all ready to travel to the beach. That's it. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Remember, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. Love you guys. Bye.